Alright, hello 7th graders, this is Mr. Dayton, about to read to you pages 230 and 231. Doing things a little bit differently because my hovercam is currently in a different classroom, so I'm using an iPad right now. Hopefully everything works out okay and we can just get her done like we normally do. So on page 230, our question is, what are fish? Our objective is to give examples of different types of fish. Key terms, we have ectotherm. That is an animal whose body temperature changes with its environment, also known as a cold-blooded animal. We have gill, an organ that absorbs dissolved oxygen from water. We have cartilage, that is a tough, flexible connective tissue. And finally, we have swim bladder. That's an organ of a fish that allows the fish to remain at a specific depth in the water. All right, first paragraph is titled Fish. Fish are the oldest group of vertebrates. Fish first appeared more than 500 million years ago. Today, fish live in most of Earth's waters. Fish are ectotherms, or cold-blooded animals. The body temperature of an ectothermic animal changes with the temperature of its surroundings. When the water temperature drops, the body temperature of a fish also drops. Okay. And we can go over to the next section titled Gills. Fish breathe through organs called gills. Gills are protected by a hard covering called a gill cover, or we now know it as an operculum. Fish take water in through their mouths and get rid of it through their gills. Dissolved oxygen in the water is absorbed by the gills. The oxygen passes into the blood through the walls of the gills. Blood carries the oxygen to all the cells in the fish's body. Carbon dioxide passes out of the blood in the gills and then into the water. Look at figure 10-5 to learn about the parts of a fish. And here is figure 10-5. We looked at the mouth, the fins. These are dorsal fins. We have anterior dorsal and posterior dorsal. We have a tail fin, which is also called the caudal fin. We have the anal fin, the pelvic fin, and the pectoral fin. And then we have the gill cover, which we know as the operculum, the eye, of course, and then a mouth. All right. And then here are some scales that have been magnified. All right, we're going to talk about 4 classes of fish. Fish are the largest group of vertebrates. They have a 2-chambered heart. The top chamber is the atrium and the bottom chamber is the ventricle. Fish are grouped into 4 classes: lampreys, hagfish, cartilaginous fish, and bony fish. Lampreys and hagfish are both jawless fish. They look very different from most fish. These fish are long and snake-like. They do not have scales. Next, the cartilaginous fish include sharks, rays, and skates. These fish have skeletons made of cartilage. Cartilage is a strong, flexible tissue. The tip of your nose and your ears are made of cartilage. Cartilaginous fish also have specialized fins for steering and balance. So here's a hammerhead shark, and that's an example of a cartilaginous fish, as are stingrays and sturgeon. Okay, next we have bony fish. Bony fish have skeletons made of bone. Tuna, salmon, bass, and flounder are all examples of bony fish. Bony fish are suited to many different environments. Most have streamlined bodies for easy movement through the water. They also have different kinds of fins that are used for steering and balance. Their bodies are covered with tough, overlapping scales that protect their skin. Bony fish also have a swim bladder. The swim bladder adjusts the average density of the fish. The fish can control the amount of gas in the swim bladder to equal the pressure of the water. As a result, the fish can remain at any depth in the water. And now we're on to the questions. Checking concepts. Number 1, what is an ectothermic animal? What is an ectothermic animal? So you would answer in complete sentences in your science notebook by saying, an ectothermic animal is, and then explain. Number 2, how do fish breathe? How do fish breathe? Fish breathe by blank. Number 3, how many chambers does a fish's heart have? How many chambers does a fish's heart have? So you would say a fish's heart has blank chambers. What are the only two kinds of jawless fish? This is number 4. What are the only two kinds of jawless fish? The only two kinds of jawless fish are blank and blank. Number 5. What is the main characteristic of a cartilaginous fish? What is the main characteristic of a cartilaginous fish? The main characteristic of a cartilaginous fish is blank. And then for number 6, we have to actually classify these. Place each of the following fish into its correct class. So for here, you wouldn't necessarily need to write in a complete sentence. You could put A, tuna, and then put that into the correct class. Remember, there are 4 classes. You may need to go back in this video and reread about the 4 classes. So A is tuna, B is bass, C is sea skate, D is hammerhead shark, E is salmon, and F is whale shark. So for these, I would allow you to make a list and not writing complete sentences. That is all we have for pages 230 and 231 and questions 1 through 6 on page 231. Please write these in complete sentences in your science notebook, and best of luck to you.